Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Deepal, Danvat Pranam. Hare Krishna, Viral Prabhu, Danvat Pranam. I saw Varshana Mataji a little while ago. What happened? Where did she disappear? Okay, she's still in the queue. I thought I had stopped the queue. Okay, good. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. All right. So let's get started. We are in luck today because we are broadcasting on Facebook already. And we are joined by Madan Reddy Prabhu, Namazya Mataji, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, and Sutapa is on Facebook today. Well, anyway, and we have Mukesh Sen Prabhu and Vidyavadu Devi Dasi Mataji. So without much ado, I will get started. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandat Pranam, Jai Prabhupada. And let's get started here. I'm sharing the Vigyapti Panchika prayers. If one of you can confirm that you can see it. And do you see that? And is it coming full on your screen?
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
All right. That's good then. Get started with the prayers first. All right. Om Ajnanitimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi cha kashana parihare pilajjame Indre Purushottama Yuvatinam yatha yuni Yunam cha yuvato yatha Mano viramate tadvan Mano me ramatam tvai Bhumau skalita padanam Bhumirevavalambanam Tvai jata paradhanam Tvameva sharanam prabhu Govinda Vallabhe Radhe Prarthaye Tvam Aham Sada Tadiyam Niti Janatu Govindo Mam Tvaya Saha Radhe Vrindavanatishe Karunamritu Pahini Kripaya Nij Padabja Dasyam Mayam Pradiyatam. Okay, going back up to the translations, and we will go into the translations once we have the reading order given to us by Suresh Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Today's reading order is Ishwari Radhika Mataji, Niral Prabhu, Khyati Mataji, Deepal Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Yash, Garima Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Shraddha Mataji.
Alrighty, so I'm going to bring up the prayers one more time here, and let's get going. Who comes in next?
O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Hey, can you please scroll?
Yeah, I'm scrolling.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you. So, Bhabi, you can continue. Khyati is yet to come.
Okay. O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavana, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
All right, what do we say? Should I stop sharing and have you share your reflections?
Tvameva Sharanam Prabhu.
Twameva Sharanam Prabhu. Very nice.
Mano me ramatam toyi.
Hmm. So what efforts are you going to make today, Priyanka Mataji, so that Manomeram Tamtvai happens?
Mataji, I feel that I have to do something different which I am doing every day so that I can constantly meditate upon that activity. But
Yeah.
I still don't know. I'm not sure what should be that.
What should you do? Well, I can give you a suggestion.
Sure, Mataji.
So Radharani is a servant of Krishna, right?
Yeah.
And anytime Krishna is glorified, Radharani will be happy, right? So you can think of the Bhadra Purnima is coming, right? So you can think of how you can help spread Krishna's words by distributing Srimad Bhagavatam. You can meditate on that the whole day today.
Sure, Mataji. Yes, I will definitely.
Yesterday, Vaishashika Prabhu said that he has said before, where was it in India? I'm forgetting which place, I think Tirupati. He said that he'd like the whole world to distribute 10,000 Srimad Bhagavatam sets for Bhadra Purnima.
Yeah, I heard that.
I think that'll keep you busy the whole day.
Sure, Mataji.
I was just going to say that, Gurmat, if you give us your mercy, then we'll be able to do it. Without your mercy, we can't do anything. If you have
Right, because the activities which I'm doing every day now, I mean, they become a habit and you don't have to think about those. So
that is true. That is
to
true.
churn your mind, you need something different.
Exactly. I remember when I was growing up, we had a lecturer who came and he said that he talked to us about autopilot. Autopilot is, when you do things on your own, and it was like, woo, this is cool. This is, very nice. But it's not good in devotional service to be on autopilot all the time. You have to be present in the moment, because if you're on autopilot, so your bodily activities are being done automatically, but
Right.
your mind is going to take you in its own chariot and then take you to various places like that. So it's sometimes good. And actually, I was talking to my daughter, once, and she's the one who goes into all these kinds of things. So she said that about dieting, when people are dieting and they've been told to eat less food, which is a very painful thing to do, right? So she said that, yeah. So she said that if I'm hearing some noises there, if you can all mute yourself and unmute when you have to speak. So she was saying that one of the things that they tell you is that when you're putting the food in your mouth, you be conscious that food is going into your mouth. Otherwise, we kind of like get in the habit of gulping it down because we are always in a hurry. So, and then she also said that in between putting the food in your mouth, you should also put the fork down and keep your hand away. So you can imagine that how much of being present in the moment is involved, even while eating. Something that we don't do, and because we don't do, because we're not focusing on it, and also we're not focusing our senses on the food, so we're not able to get as much of satisfaction as we need with the quantity that we are putting, and so we end up putting more quantity there in our stomach. And so yeah, being present in the moment is going to solve a lot of the world problems. I mean, obesity is a big one, right? In this world. Yeah.
Mataji, can I say something or ask you?
Yes, please.
This just reminded me when you said that be conscious when you're eating, right?
Mm.
So I'm trying to teach my children, especially my son, that, when you're eating, can you like not get on the iPad or some kind of screen while you're eating?
Yes.
And he just like goes berserk if I tell him that, I said, you see the way you're reacting? You need to just put that away and eat and enjoy your food. Can you do that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
I think you'll have to go slow because it's a habit. I mean, judging by his reaction, you can see that he doesn't want to let go of the phone. So you can come to a mid, like a medium, point, and which you will move the medium. It might not even be the medium in the beginning. It'll be more in his favor in the beginning and less in your favor. So he'll say, okay, how about in the beginning, like they do the prayers, right? To before they eat, or at least you remind them
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
And then so you can say that, okay, for the next few minutes, or like a 1 minute, or now for the next 30 seconds, let us just engage all our senses in this food, in this prasadam which is in front of you. So look
Mhm.
at it and see what you are eating. What is there in
Yes.
the plate, right? Look at the arrangement, and you smell it, like that. And then why when people drink and it's sad that they do it, but when people drink, they why do they say cheers, and they touch each other's glass like that, right? It makes a sound thing like that, because when you are drinking alcohol, you're engaging your eyes in it. You also smell it. A good a good wine drinker always does a little smell like that and then drinks it. So you're engaging your eyes, you're engaging your nose, you're engaging your tongue, and of course you're touching it, so the sense of touch is also there. The only sense which is not engaged in drinking is the ears, right? So they do a cheer, so that sense also gets engaged there, right? So you can tell them that this is how we will do. So before I'm sitting down to eat, how about I do a clap like this and say Hare Krishna? So your ears are also getting involved, and then you look at it, taste it, touch it. There's a texture. See, and you can even have a game there that you like. For example, if you made something, chapatis and things like that, if they can tell what's the texture of that, just a little 30-second thing, and then say, okay, now you can bring your cell phone. But the process of looking at the food, smelling it, and all that, prasadam will have its effect on them slowly. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to get out of habits,
Mhm.
especially with
Thank
kids.
you. Thank you so much.
Like that. Yeah. And Pavitra Renu has also joined us here. Bhageshri Mataji, Kasturi Manjari Mataji, and Achyuta Radhe Mataji has joined. Welcome to the call. Yeah, go ahead. We were doing reflections.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Parihare pi lajja me kim bruve purushottama.
All right. And what does that mean?
That I'm such a shameful person that that, oh my dear Lord, I can't even express my shameness. So you still, accept me.
Okay, good, good, good. What else? I think somebody else. Suresh Prabhu, were you trying to say something? I saw your face.
Um, Mataji, I was trying to ask a question as well as seek the guidance. So, in order not to go in that driver mode, um, so what happens is when I'm chanting, my wife says I am saying Krishna 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I started from yesterday, be very conscious, and that actually affects it made my chanting very nice, because I'm now concentrating more on the each word. And I read a Prabhupada's yesterday that you just hear and you just say those two things would get your attention locked. And this simple mantra, but it's very nice. But now I have another question to this is, what if we say Hare Krishna 3 times Krishna? Is it
Not
okay?
wrong. It's not. It's not wrong, because once I observed a very senior person chanting, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's all wrong. She's doing Krishna 3 times. But it was not that she was doing Krishna instead of to Krishna, Krishna, that she was doing Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. It was that the other one, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So, the 3 Krishnas came together. And to the other person who's listening, it looks like that, right? So there's a lot that's going inside your mind. And as long as, so chanting is a conversation with the Lord, right? 2 hours you get to talk. I mean, you bet you don't even talk to Manasi that much in a day,
We
right?
do now.
Like they're short, but if you sit down and measure, like concentrated 2 hours of non-stop talking to Krishna, it doesn't happen, right? Like that. But this is a glorious time for us to talk. And chanting is like, it's your time. It's your time with Krishna. And it's entirely up to us. I mean, yes, there'll be family demands and things like that. And I might say that, okay, I can only do half an hour, or I can do only 15 minutes, or I can even say I have only 5 minutes, or to sit and do, I can only do 1 round at a time because I have a little baby, and so on and so forth. And that's okay. But whatever is the time that you have got with Krishna, how about just using that time exclusively for Krishna? We can't even do that. Like it's
Yeah.
now like a bead at a time. This morning I was like, can I just go on a bead and stay there? Because 600 different things were coming to the mind at that time, and they were all related to Krishna. It was not that I was thinking of something else. For the majority of the time, it was Krishna's projects and things like that. But still, don't take your mind on other projects also, because this is a cry for help. And for us to be able to do other projects for Krishna nicely, we have to get Krishna's blessings, which will come through the chanting process. So yes, you have to hear and you have to chant, and it is actually a prayer. And that's why these days during the japa circle that Vaishnav Prabhu does on Saturday mornings, he says that, have a sankalpa. Why am I chanting? Right? And today during chanting, what am I going to do? You can just say today's sankalpa is that I'm going to chant pronounce every word clearly. That could be a sankalpa. Or today I'm not going to let my mind waver, so I will be focusing one bead at a time. Or today my sankalpa is that the first 5 beads of every round I will be with the mantra, because I know my mind goes here and there, like that. Again, it comes back again to sankalpa is sort of a goal. So again, it comes back to set realistic goals. Like not like for the next 10 mantras, my mind is not going to deviate. You wouldn't even know, immediately it will deviate. Mind doesn't like these kind of results that we make. The moment this thing comes, the mind starts resisting and comes up saying, you can't do that, I can't do that, this can't happen, that can't happen. And then even if you say, shut up, I'm going to do that, then mind is so smart, it will still carry you away from there. Have smaller goals, shorter goals. And don't feel very bad if the mind goes away. Do not be overwhelmed with disappointment if you can't meet the goal, because that's also one of Maya's tricks to get you out of the practice. Like, hey, you are a failure, you can't do it, I'm no good, like that, right? Start with that. But it's good. I'm glad that your chanting has become better. Experience has become better. Yeah, and then Prabhupada is saying that you hear as you chant, and there are 2 reasons for that. One is that when you're hearing what you're chanting, then your ears are also engaged in the chanting process, like a it's my cheers for my morning intoxication of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So your ears are engaged, and also when the name of Krishna goes through your ears, it goes straight to your heart, and there it will remove all the anarthas from your heart. So that's also another reason that we should be hearing what we are chanting. And also have Prabhupada's tape going on, somewhere in the background. Also, it depends on, sometimes people get very disturbed if there's somebody else who's chanting and they'd rather like to hear their chanting.
Yes.
You can put it at a lower volume. You can put Prabhupada's tape at a lower volume, because you can just imagine that, I'm chanting with Prabhupada. So if you were to chant with Prabhupada, if you were to chant with Manasi, for example, then Manasi would also lower her voice down so that you can hear like that, right? So similarly, you can put other things, but it's good to have those vibrations, because there's nothing more powerful than, Prabhupada's or, our senior devotees chanting, or somebody who has done chanting for a very long time, like that. But good, it's a good thing to think about in the morning. How do I chant properly? Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
You're welcome. So are we ready to go into Bhagavad-gita now?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu. And while you're doing that, Vijay Lakshmi Nair Mataji has joined us. Dandavat Pranams Mataji. And sorry, yesterday I didn't see your comments. And I hope I'll be a little bit more careful and look at the devotees on Facebook as well. Okay, whose turn is it to read?
Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
All right.
Contents of the Gita summarized. Text 1. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Hare Krishna.
O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows and battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship?
It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Text said, I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven.
Text 9. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
Shraddha Mataji?
How come? Oh, you know what? I'm looking at, instead of looking at the chat, I was looking at the participant windows and I was thinking, well, I'm going to go after Suruchi Mataji. Sorry about that. Okay. O descendant of Bharata at that time, did I get the right words? 11. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you're mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any one of us cease to be.
As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanence of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material, that is the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, that's the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
Text 17. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain, is in knowledge, for the self slays not nor is slain. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
Hare Krishna. Text 21. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Text 22. As a person puts on new garments, giving up the old ones, The soul similarly accepts the new material bodies, giving up the old and the useless ones. Hare Krishna.
The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. The individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed.
One who has taken birth is sure to die, and after that, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Text 28. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation?
Text 29. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being.
Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by doing so you will never incur grief. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, please. Thank you. I'm going to mute all of you. Yeah. And I'll give you the privileges to unmute yourself. How about that? So that we don't have a noisy background. Okay. And after Khyati, who goes to read? Dipali Mataji. Dipal Mataji, please unmute yourself and give us the verse.
Yam hi na vachatye ite paryusam paryusarbha sama dukha sukham dharam so martaya kalapate.
Okay, who goes in next for the synonyms?
Shana Mataji.
That's me. Yam, one to whom, he certainly, na, never, vyatyanti, are distressing, ete, all these, purusham, to a person, purusharishab, O best among men, sama, unaltered, dukkha, in distress, sukham, and happiness, dhiram, patient, sa, he, amratvaya, for liberation, kalpate, is considered eligible, Hare Krishna.
Translation. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation.
Purport. Anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In the Varnashrama institution, the fourth stage of life, namely the renounced order, sannyasa, is a painstaking situation. But one who is serious about making his life perfect surely adopts the sannyasa order of life in spite of all difficulties. The difficulties usually arise from having to sever family relationships, to give up the connection of wife and children. But if anyone is able to tolerate such difficulties, surely his path to spiritual realization is complete. Next one can read.
Similarly, in Arjuna's discharge of duty as a Kshatriya, he is advised to preserve, even if it is difficult to fight with his family members or similarly beloved person. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas at the age of 24, and his dependents, young wife as well as old mother, had no one else to look after him. Yet, for a higher cause, he took sannyas and was steady in the discharge of higher duties. That is the way of achieving liberation from material bondage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So we come to our favorite part of the day.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
But
There should always, we should look into the higher cause of liberation, where even if we have to forego our dear ones, but if it is required for the rest of the community or the society, then it is better to leave it. And like Srila Prabhupada, he left his family and he taught so many. So this is wonderful. And we as a small, me as a small person, you see, should be able to take out time to reach Krishna consciousness. If I cannot take sannyasa, cannot take liberation, a small thing, I should try and spread the name of Krishna consciousness.
very nice. Very nice.
Here, as Krishna, as you suggested, and here, not disturbed by happiness and distress. So happiness also disturbs us. So
Disturbs us.
Happiness also disturbs. Yeah. Yeah. What else?
I think happiness leads to more sense engagement, and distress actually helps withdrawing it. So,
Absolutely.
which is real happiness.
Yes, it makes you sit down and rethink.
Yeah. I think 18th chapter, Krishna says, right, what appears to be poison in the beginning is nectar at the end.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Good connection.
Yeah.
I think Varshada Mataji brought really important point regarding renunciation, right? Like we are in the Grahastha ashram, so it is not possible for us to like give up our family attachments and connections and the duties that we have taken. But renouncing the effect and trying to be enthusiastic and serving Krishna gives us like really big hope. So thank you, Varshana Mataji, for highlighting that.
It is your, I mean, I listen to you people and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. What else?
Madhaji, I have a different question which came to my mind when we were at text 20, that soul never dies or never takes birth. So I was just wondering that does that mean that the total number of the living entities is always constant? And I mean, they have been So there are no new created or, I mean, I just was trying to understand it in a mundane concept that what is it like that, like human beings or any other, they die and they take birth. And so there are like more or less or number changing. So is the living entity number always stay constant?
No, the living entities also more and more are being, are coming into being in the sense. It's very difficult for us to understand because being, we always understand is somebody's born, birth, like that. But Krishna is forever expanding. So if Krishna is forever expanding and we are parts and parcel, then more and more parts and parcel are constantly, being created, so to speak, like that. Yeah.
So Mataji, who takes birth then? It's the body that takes birth, but the soul does come into the body, right?
Yeah.
So
So, yes, it's true. But the soul is always existing, and we say it is eternal because we do not know when it came into being, like that. Yeah. So yes, I mean, there is a but we have to understand. We have to understand birth from the spiritual perspective, right? Birth from a medical perspective is something very different, right? That a sperm and a woman will just combine just like that, and then mother eats, so the body will grow, and then at some point in time it will come out like that magically, right? That's the understanding of science. But the spiritual understanding is very different. The Vedic explanation is very different, right? And it says that it happens under the devanetrena, under the eyes and guidance of the Lord. That it's actually a soul. And then the third canto of Bhagavatam explains, starting right from the beginning, it will explain that it's actually a soul that comes. Otherwise a sperm and a woman can combine and nothing will happen. The soul has to come there. And that is why when we have Garbhadhan Sanskar, that we say, why is a Garbhabandhan Sanskar done? Is because we create an ambience so that a good soul will get attracted and want to enter into that womb, like that. And through a father, who's also spiritually inclined, like that. So we do that. So birth to us is that, a soul has entered, so that's conception, and then grows inside. Without the soul, the fetus cannot grow. And then as it is propelled out of the system, then that is birth. So it's actually the body with the birth. So when the soul comes inside the body is where the birth is. Because as soon as the soul leaves the body, then there's death, like that, right?
Hare Krishna Mataji. From day one, the soul enters the egg inside.
Yes. The soul actually comes through the sperm.
Oh.
Yeah.
And sometimes, Mataji, the abortion takes place or something like that. Then what happens to that soul, Mataji?
That soul will leave. So that abortion never happens. Abortion is done, right? Abortion is that the doctor or somebody or somehow you are
I think Mataji is saying miscarriages.
Yeah. I'm going to address both of them. Yeah. So abortion is that somebody is actually killing it, right? So killing the fetus in the womb. So it's the same as killing somebody outside, right? You take a knife and kill somebody outside. Similarly here also, in a more sophisticated manner, you kill the fetus inside the body. So the soul will leave the body and it will go in the path, right? So why a particular soul gets killed and all that? It's karma of that soul also, right? It's a karma of the parents, karma of the soul. So it's like I always say that these explanations of karma are very complicated, but then that particular soul was destined to live in this in the womb and get a human body and then suffer in the womb for that period of time only. And after that, what happens to the soul, we don't know. Whether the soul goes into another human body or goes into an animal body and all that, that is that particular soul's karma, the fetus's karma, so to speak, like that. The second is miscarriage. Again, you can explain. Miscarriages happen on their own.
Yeah.
Right? So miscarriages is, the soul again was destined to be in the womb for only such a period of time. Which doctors sometimes will explain that they also say that it's survival of the fittest. If the and I don't know how much of it is right or wrong, But they say that if they know that a very defective piece is going to come out of this, then the body, rejects it and throws it out. That is the medical explanation. But our Shastric explanation is very different. It's got to do with, how much time they were destined to stay in that womb, in that particular body. And then actually there'll be, as soon as the soul leaves the body of the fetus, then the fetus will be ejected out of the body, like that.
And Madhuri, one more question connecting to this only. Not exactly this, but the other day there was a discussion about this, that when a person commits a suicide, now that soul has to remain in a subtle body for the time which he or she has to complete in the gross body. That period of time has to be. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
But suppose if the accident takes place, then what happens, Mother?
Sometimes in accidents also, again, it depends on the destiny and more complicated thing, but sometimes in the accidents also, they will hang around for some time.
But there is no fault of the person
I know.
who met an accident.
I know. I know that. Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Is that the reason, Mataji, why people in India mostly they pray? Okay, let's pray for a good death. In that way, we can remember Krishna and leave our body.
Yes. You see, His Holiness Bhakticharya Swami Maharaj, for those of you who are following him, when he was having high fever and the doctors were saying that he should be put on a ventilator and things like that, one of the things that he said to his disciple who was helping him, he said that I don't want to be unconscious. Because if you're unconscious, how will you think about Krishna? So he said, I don't want to be unconscious. But then later on, for the better good, I'm just amazed at how at that level, the kind of lofty thoughts that people have. And so the disciples and GBC and all that, they were, talking, the senior people were talking about that. And then Bhakticharya Swami Maharaj just said that, you all decide what you want to do with my life. I was like, that's the complete surrender, to Krishna. You all decide what you want. You want to put me on ventilator, put me on ventilator. Although he had expressed his desire that I don't want to be unconscious at the time of death. I mean, that's what he was implying, that, I've got this, so that's an option, that's something that can happen. So as a devotee, he's thinking that I don't want to be in that stage where I can't remember Krishna. But others are thinking that, we're going to pray to Krishna because we need him here for the major and amazing projects that he's doing. He had come to USA for the farm project, by the way. Yes, that's a thing that we should always try to remember Krishna at the time of death.
Mataji, so it is said that the soul does not come into being. So that being is consciousness, right? Or it's separate from the consciousness also.
It's separate from consciousness. And
being is consciousness.
Yeah. But if you explorate that, because the next question that you're going to ask is then how do you say that the number of souls are increasing?
It's the division of consciousness.
Yeah. So consciousness, Prabhupada says, is a symptom of the soul. Right? The consciousness in the body is a symptom that there is a soul inside that body. So that's one way of putting the consciousness of the soul. And second is the consciousness of the soul that gets exhibited to you through the subtle body. Right? They say you got very bad consciousness, or he has got a bad consciousness, or she's got a good consciousness. Right? So you are thinking good thoughts, you are in the mode of goodness, like that. So you're in a better consciousness. For example, when we say that when you're cooking food, then your consciousness enters into the food. That's why they tell you not to eat in restaurants, right? So consciousness is a vague thing. Yeah. What it means is that if you're very, very angry, right? So the consciousness is, the soul's feelings are there. They're feeling very angry. Now that gets manifested into food. Because why? Because anger has got a personality, and that personality of anger will enter into the food that you're cooking. And so anybody else who eats it, then the personality of anger will enter into him or her. Like that.
Yes, Mataji. This I have, I fully agree with this because I have experienced it in my life.
That is why it is said, right? Jaisa an vaisa man.
Yes.
Not man, but
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Or probably that is why we like the mom's food the best.
Exactly.
Because there's so much love
Yes.
in it.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right, Deeper, for 600 points today. That is why mother's food is so good. Yeah. 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 So it depends a lot. So people who are working in a restaurant, they might be disgruntled, right? I'm not getting paid enough. I'm being paid the minimum wages. I don't like this. I don't like that. So, and then when I came over here, I was watching a cooking show, and that person was cooking, and she was stirring something, and she had added some. Let's all add some salt, and let's taste it. And she tasted it. She put the spoon back into it, and then other people in the end, when the dish was prepared, others in the studio were eating it. So you see, the consciousness can go to the saliva also.
That is why we have coronavirus now, that people will be more careful about it.
Yeah, so Prakriti will have its own way of doing things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the Pushti Marga, on the Vaishnava side, even in our temple, right? Before we touch anything, we're supposed to wash the hand, cover our mouth while we are preparing the food. It's all made for a reason, right?
Yes.
So
All done for a reason. Yeah.
yeah, I wish we have like Govinda here, so we get prasadam.
Yeah, our god brother Shalbahu Prabhu has got not a Govinda, but he's got a restaurant which is vegetarian and all that.
Yeah, I think it's in Gilroy, right?
No, it's somewhere close here, I think. Close to some university. Yeah, let's just find out, because I don't eat outside and not venture more. But somebody was saying that I think it's close to a university or college or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, I can find out from
Yeah,
him.
find out from him. Yeah.
Yeah, because like someone in my office was planning, and I was like, oh, I probably want to order vegan food. So there's like, okay, you pick the restaurant. So I was like,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether his food will be vegan or not, but yeah, we
I
can
mean, not necessarily vegan,
talk
but
to him.
prepared in a good consciousness. Right?
Consciousness. Yeah.
Kathy Mataji, for that, you can contact Hari Sankirtan Prabhu also. He has ordered food from a restaurant where they cook and they offer to the Lord, and then they cater.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There are many there, but yeah, that's a good starting point.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kalakili can also help you there.
Yes.
All right, good. Yeah. Yeah, what else do we see here from this verse, or any of the things that we have been, kind of concentrating on?
So, like happiness and distress, both we have to be some, so that it will always also help in our devotional service. Like if we are distressed, like if our family doesn't have food to eat or this, we will not be able to concentrate on devotional service. Our mind will be constantly looking for food and all. But if we believe that it is temporary and we have to be some, and then we can pray more to Krishna, and then Krishna will provide us if we can have faith. And then so similarly happiness will bring so many anarthas in our life. Pride, anger, everything comes from happiness, that I got so much and I'm so happy, others are so miserable. So that also, if we know that we have to be some, then it will help in devotional service and more concentration to Krishna.
Right. So, yeah, there's a very interesting verse that Vaishika Prabhu always brings up, and that is from the 5th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. It's verse number 23. Suyash Prabhu, can you share? Are you in a position to share, or should I share it?
Yes, Mataji, sharing. Give me a moment.
Okay, sure.
I've started sharing, Mataji. Is it visible?
Yes, you give the Sanskrit also from the top. Shaknoti haiva yashodham praksharira vimokshanat kama krododbhavam vegam sayukta sa sukhi naraha. Right? And let's go down and somebody read the translation.
Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world.
Give us the verse before this also. There's one before this, I think. 22. Give us 22 also. Yeah. Please, somebody read it.
Is it my turn or is it Mansi Mataji's turn?
Anyone can read, Mataji. You
You
can
can
go
go
ahead,
with
please.
Mataji.
Oh, you can go in. Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Sanskrit first, though. Yeah, go ahead, Ishwari Radha.
Ye hi samsparsa jaboga dukkayonaya evate adi antavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha.
Translation.
An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to the contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
What do you say about that? You can stop sharing, huh? Should we delight? That's what our verses, like for the past 2-3 days, we kind of thinking like that only, right? Marcus Varshastu Konteya, Sitoshun Sukha Dukkadha, Agam Apanyo Anityas Tam Titikshasva Bharata. Right? So we have to learn how to tolerate.
Mataji, so I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
So for happiness, we burn a good karma, and for distress, bad karma. So why is it necessary to burn a good karma also?
Yeah, because how do you enjoy good karma? To enjoy good karma, you have to take a body, right? So the moment you take a body, there are chances that you end up doing some more bad karma. Right? And the example that I gave was that Nalkuvar and Manigriv, they were sons of Kuver. So obviously they had a lot of good karma because of which they were born in such a rich family. And then what did they started doing? They started womanizing like that. Right? And did not pay respect to Narad Muni. So they were very far away from devotional service. Right? And so when people are born in rich families, there could be two reasons they are born in rich families. They have been doing pious activities, and to take care of the pious activities, they will to take care of the pious credit, they'll be born in a rich family. And sometimes also they are born in a rich family because they are unsuccessful transcendentalists, and who were not very highly at a very high level, but they were doing transcendental activities like pursuing Lord, or meditating on Paramatma and things like that. And so after death they are elevated to heavenly planets. Now the problem with heavenly planets is that um, that there is so much of opulence that I can get burnt by that and fall into bad habits like that, right? So there's always a risk that if I go for more opulence, I might get into bad habits. Because sometimes what happens is that I could be so poor that I'm not able to afford some of the vices which are there. So poverty is not a curse. Actually, sometimes poverty is good because it keeps you away from vices. Right? If you don't have money to buy alcohol, what will you do? Right? Like that. Yeah. But if you're lucky, and it's very complicated. That's why they say the laws of karma are very complicated. Like if you have a desire to have alcohol and you don't have money to have alcohol, that desire is still buried. And so many, many births later, you will become a drunkard like that. So if you're lucky, then some fortunate soul will come and put you under the 4 regulative principles. and say that, know this, know that, know this, and know that. Four of them. It's not one or two, it's four regulative principles. But these are actually your four regulative principles of freedom. Four regulative, because yesterday we read that Martha Sparshastu Konteya Sitoshun Sukha Dukkha. And Matra, your senses are going and measuring. Am I going to get joy from this or not? Am I going to get joy from this or not? So a person could be, painful, under pain, or some side of a mental distress, some boyfriend dumped or something like that, and you want to just forget it all. And somebody will come and say, oh yeah, here, take this pill, and it's a drug. Take this drug and you'll forget everything. And actually you'll go into a high from there. So a person might just do that. Right? Or a person might, okay, let's drown the sorrow in a glass of alcohol or wine or something like that, they might say, right? So one can get into that, right? And get attracted by it and do it. But if you are under, and then of course there'll be a hangover the next day. So it's not that your suffering went, it just got substituted for a different kind of a suffering, right? If a boyfriend dumps you, nobody throws up. But you have excesses alcohol, you do throw up. Like that, right? You'll have your head in the commode the next day. So but if you are following the four regulative principles, then even if somebody shows you a bottle of alcohol, because you have practiced, and that is why it says that before giving up the body, if one is able to control the urges, and that is what these four regulative principles are doing, that because you have learned how to control them. So even if somebody shows me 6 bottles of alcohol, I will not touch it, because my consciousness has risen to a certain high level. And that is why we're trying to do all kinds of things to keep our consciousness at a higher level, right? We will be chanting, we'll be reading scriptures, we'll go into association of devotees and things like that, right? I mean, in our case, if somebody goes through some emotional turmoil in their lives, they just have to come and do guhyam akhyati prichiti. They just have to turn to some other devotee and unburden their heart and say, I'm going to this. Even if you're somebody you're going to marry and that person dumped you, that's okay. But when you turn to a particular devotee, what will the devotee first start doing? They'll say, okay, let's have some prasadam. They'll try to give you prasadam. They won't take you to a pub to drown your sorrows like that. So, that's what is important. So sometimes sorrows are good, and that's why Kunti Maharani says, right? That give me more sorrows. Yeah. So one of you pointed that out yesterday. Yeah. So yes, you were continuing.
And in the verse which we read now, and you mentioned this a couple of times, Vegam, force.
Yes.
And it is really a force, right? Like whatever desire comes in, they are just like a force. The other day I was in office and my IT guy says, you don't eat meat? I said, no. No regrets? I'm like, no regrets. You never ate? I said, never ate. And he was even in force, he was so forceful, even asking in no regrets. I'm like, yeah, what Mataji said, Vegam.
Exactly. And it is really a vegam. It's really a veg, because after that they come and say that I don't know why I did it. It happens, and this is such an interesting thing. It happens with me once that somebody asked me, like, should I do this? And I said, no, don't do this. I wanted to say something. I said, no, don't say it. And you know how the mind operated for that person? That it was a lady, and that lady went and gave me lots of explanations as to what is happening to her, why she has to say it, why she's, and we were on WhatsApp, and like, no, don't say it. And then she wanted to express certain things, and then I said, no, this is don't say that in that forum, don't say that. And then she went and she consulted somebody else. And that other person did not know the background at all as to why I was telling this person not to say it. It looked like a very innocent thing. And so the other person said, yes. And then this lady said, yeah, Chandamati is saying no, but she's saying yes, I will say it. and in that process, she also took the name of somebody else, like, involved somebody else in that, and said it as if it was coming from both of them. And then the lady that got involved without her permission. He picked up the phone and blasted. And then, this one started crying, and then she came back to me asking for forgiveness. And I just told her that, see, this is how the mind operates. This is somebody tells you not to do it. The force is so strong. The desire is so strong to say it that you go and you're just trying to get a yes. And that's what happens with gurus also. 4 regulative principles. Oh, I don't like this guru. So you'll keep on changing the guru till you come to a guru, a fake guru, a cheater, who will tell you, yes, it's okay. It's okay to pursue, it's okay to throw the 4 regulative principles out of the window and still pursue devotional service. Acharya Rajneesh. Right. He's telling you that you'll reach God through these activities, right? So till you find a guru who's going to satisfy to your desires, the guru will never satisfy your desire. Guru is one who's going to twist you a little bit here and there. So sometimes the teacher will be very strict, and to others it might look like, why is she doing that, or why is he doing that, and poor thing, and you poor this and poor that. But it's no poor and no poor that, because the colleague at work who's telling you no regrets, actually you know how much of regret he will have for having eaten animals, right? Which he's not supposed to do when it comes back to him. So to understand, so we are so thankful to Prabhupada for this, for giving us wonderful literature, translating that into a language that we can understand, right? English.
Mother, a very nice incident happened only 3-4 days ago. Some relative of ours, she just asked my husband, uncle, can you, actually he asked, do you need beer? She said, I don't mind. So uncle, he said, okay, I'll get something for you. So he got everything, whatever wine was required, whatever was required, he brought everything for her. And she called me up, Auntie, I want to tell you that please take the money, don't give it like that. मैंने कहा बेटा, I do not give gift liquor to anybody. I don't want to, have karmas on me. This is between you and uncle, and you do what you want to do. Don't involve me in between. If I want to give some gift, I will give you some better gift, not this.
Yeah.
This will also increase my karmas if I give her this as a gift.
Yeah. But one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that sometimes because of the cultural things, people feel very offended. Like, for example, here in USA, it's very customary for people to give a bottle of wine. And they don't know that they're doing a wrong thing. From their perspective, they're doing the best thing because they bought you the best wine, like the oldest wine, which is $100 a bottle or something like that, and they give it to you. And you just accept it. Don't chastise them or blaspheme them, just accept it. And then open the bottle and drain it in the sink. That's where it belongs. Don't even give it to anybody else, that which you said, obviously. But I was talking from a different perspective. You were saying about giving it, and I was talking about receiving it, right? Sometimes they will give it. And later on, at a certain later time, you can tell those people that you don't drink alcohol. Don't tell them that you drained it in the sink. They'll feel hurt like that. And at a suitable time, we tell them, but not bingo on the spot. We don't tell them that.
No, she knows that I don't drink, but she knows that he drinks.
Yeah. They figure it out who to be buddy and pally with.
Yeah.
People know how to find their own association. Yeah. Like that. So, so one of the things I wanted to point out, again, as part of these, so we have been reading some very interesting verses these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, Krishna is giving some really, and that's why we're going a little bit slow, because there's so much to digest, and there are so many questions that are coming up. There's so much to learn and to understand there, and so
they're very practically, like we can actually apply them. So it's very important and interesting to understand them very.
Exactly. Yeah. So Arati Mataji is watching us on Facebook, and so is Srivatsa. Oh, welcome, Srivatsa, to the class. Yeah. So if you remember, Arjuna says in the previous chapter, he said, "Yotsamana naveksheham ya etetra samagata dhatarashtrasya durbuddhe yuddhe priya chakishava." Right. So Arjuna is saying that I want to see all these durbuddhi sons of the Dhritarashtra assembled here with a desire to fight. And then what happened? Krishna drew the chariot, right? And uvacha partha paschetan samvetan kuruniti. So this is what Krishna said. He drew the chariot in the middle of both of the armies, and he said, "Look at this," right? So then, and we know why Krishna asked him, and then Arjuna looks at that, and we are always saying that it was a very default, which is a very faulty type of a scene there, right? But then, if you look at the verses that are coming up in chapter 2 after Arjuna has surrendered, so the verses that are coming there are saying that Dehesmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara, right? So Uvach partha paschetan, samvetan kuruniti. Look at these kurus that are assembled there. So you can also look at them, like, having understood this verse. And then we go back to chapter 1 where Arjuna is there standing and looking at the in midst of both the armies. So one of the things that he can also look at and see is that there is Bhishma Pitama, who's very young, and there is Abhimanyu, who's Bhishma Pitama, who's old, and then there is Abhimanyu also among the people who are very young. And just by looking at Abhimanyu and then looking at Bhishma Pitama, you know that something happens to the body. Something happens to the body, but now you're supposed to look at it from a different perspective, from a very different perspective, from the perspective that, okay, Abhimanyu young and fresh, right? And Bhishma Pitama much older, but the soul inside never changes, right? And then to think that I'm lamenting that they are going to die. I'm lamenting that they are going to die. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them. To understand that, Bhishma Pitama has gone through so many deaths already, as he changed his bodies from boyhood to youth to now the old age. And similarly, in the end, he is bound to change and he's bound to leave that body and go to some other place, right? So if a person is knowledgeable, which in chapter 1, apparently Arjuna was not, but if you're armed with knowledge, you can go back and start looking at that chapter and now seeing it with the light of this knowledge that you have got now, that Arjuna has got now. So he's looking at it, right? And then Marta Sparshastu Kanteya Sitoshan Sukha Dukkada Agam Apanyo Anityas Tamtitiksha Bharata. So this is such an important thing. And like I told you all yesterday, that even the Lord who takes away everybody's distress, He Harta hai, right? Even he takes away everybody's distress. He didn't suggest to Arjuna, right? Like chant 16 rounds and I'll take care of all of that. He said, you learn how to tolerate it. So so there is a lot of credit to, to being tolerated, to being a tolerant person. And actually, in the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, it is said that, the Lord is actually very satisfied. He gets very satisfied when a devotee greets other people who are there with tolerance, tolerance, with mercy, friendship, and equality, like that. And this is, in the fourth canto, where there's a big fight that happens between Daksha and Lord Shiva. After that, we come to hear about this, that it's the Lord. So if we are tolerating, because we always ask that, you're asking me to tolerate, what is in it for me? What's in it for me, right? Why should I tolerate, right? So this is, again, whole life is a practice. And when you learn how to tolerate the smaller things, your tolerance muscles get stronger, so that when bigger things come in your life, you have a habit and a practice of tolerating. So it becomes easy for you to tolerate the bigger things if you start with the smaller things in the beginning itself. Like for Ishwari Radha, I just told that her son has to now tolerate that urge to check the cell phone by just starting small. Okay, for first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I won't touch the cell phone. I'll just look at my food. So it's a constant practice. It's a constant practice that we need to always do like that, right?
Right,
But
Mataji, but sometimes it's so for the for a friend, some maybe like if they come and approach and they are sharing their problem, I mean, I can see, okay, because I'm reading this, that this is temporary, it will be gone and you should tolerate. And then but then I feel that if I'm saying that, they will be in their mind thinking, yeah, because you know, you yourself are not feeling this pain, that's why it's easy for you to say, but I'm the one who is going through it. So how should we like um, talk to them so that we can at least bring them into this reading part and understanding, or and start chanting and
Yeah, yeah. It's a slow process. It's a very slow process. And Vaisheshika Prabhu gives a very nice example. And I wish I can deliver that example with the same flair with which he delivers it in the class. And I don't know whether I'll be up to the mark, because the disciple is never up to the same mark. So he says that when he was in a temple, living in the temple, there was a Prabhuji, a senior, and he fell sick. He had viral infection or something like that. So he had fever and his body was aching and things like that. And then, as in a temple, there are all kinds of people who come and live. There was a very young Kanishta Adhikari devotee also was there. And so this older and the more senior devotee was sick. He was lying down on the floor and in his sleeping bag or whatever. And then he was groaning because he was in extreme pain. So he was groaning. And then this new neophyte says, Prabhu, you are the soul, not the body. And then Vaishak Prabhu says that the Prabhu, then, painfully he got up on his elbow like that, because he was lying down, he gets up like that and looks at that young person and he says, and you are not my body either. So exactly, Priyanka, that's what that person is telling you, right? So if you give them that philosophy at that time, they're going to tell you that you can say that because you're not feeling what I'm feeling, right? And so sometimes, and it's amazing, sometimes people just want to be heard. They're not looking for advice at all. And all the men watching and hearing this understand that this is the nature of women. That when they are stressed, they will come and they want to talk. They just want to let it out. That's all. They're not looking for they're not looking for a solution. And men who are from Mars, they are more solution oriented. They'll start giving you solutions. Like, for example, you will say that, this is my best friend and she treated me so badly. And then on and on and on for 5 years of mistreatment from this girlfriend, they will tell the husband. And the husband will say, why didn't you dump her? Why didn't you leave her? They're like, what? And then again, the crying will start and all that will start, So they are not looking for a solution at all. So in most of the cases, people are not looking for a solution from us. They are just venting out. All they want is that somebody should hear their pain and their grievance, right? So if they are close to you, like in proximity, then you can give them, some prasadam, some water that is offered to Krishna with some tulsi leaves. And what I would normally start with is that I say, why don't you do some breathing exercise? Let us just do some breathing, because that'll help them, right? At that time. Philosophy comes much later. Philosophy comes much later. And once they see, they have
and not even ask them for chanting or
nothing. They can't, they will throw away the beads.
yeah, I mean, it
Or they'll-
depends on the person. Yeah, one of my
Yeah.
friend is, she calls me and she feels that when she does, then I have done chanting with her on the phone sometimes, and she likes it, but then there are others who don't.
Who don't, exactly. And it's you as a physician has to know how to touch the pulse and check the pulse of the person like that. So for example, somebody comes and says, my dad died. All right, fine, let's sit down and chant, right? No. So when people are very much stressed out, at that time, you don't even recommend them to do the japa, because what will they chant? The mind is all completely gone berserk, right? And they'll sit down, they'll think about the same thing, the chanting, they'll end up doing more aparat to the naam, right? The chanting. So what is recommended instead is that to recommend them some bhajan. I send them usually to sadhu sangha, where there are very nice bhajans from very expert singers. So, just listen to these. Or sometimes some people are not even into Krishna. I will just send them a recording of a flute, just here listen to this, and then that flute will calm them down. So till they come to a level where they have a support, where they have a faith in you. And I think the one who's chanting with you has got that faith, right? She has got that faith in you, and that's why she's agreeing to that, to chant with you. And we have to gauge their moods, because sometimes by speaking too much about God, we end up making them go antagonistic, because they can't understand. They don't understand karma, right? They don't understand karma, so they always have to blame somebody else for what is happening to them. Understanding karma is a complete shift. It's a complete paradigm shift from looking at everything as what others are doing to me, to looking at that, I have already done this to them already, right? and it's the law of karma that gets extended. And there was a very famous person, and I'm forgetting his name, but he said about tolerances. He said that, since others have to tolerate my weaknesses, it's only fair that I should tolerate theirs. Isn't it? So it's the law of karma. You're doing it to me, I have to do it to you. Like, that's the law of karma is very, very powerful. I mean, when I read Prabhupada's book, that was the turning point for me. That it is, yeah, it is my karma. I have already done that.
Thank you, Aditi.
Mother, sometimes you keep tolerating, but some people, they really take undue advantage, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So that's why yesterday I told the story of the snake, right? Remember? Snake who had, so once in a while you have to show your
anger.
show your hood. You can show your displeasure. You can show your anger. You can show your anger without even speaking a word. Yeah, Vidya Badhu is very good at that.
Don't get the response, I feel, most of the time. That helps.
Through her silence, she can conquer that none of people.
Yes.
I'm the one who blabbers. Like that, yeah.
But I really like these two bhajans, Mataji, Jeeva Jago,
Yeah.
Gora Chanda Bole. And then Mosama Patita Prabhu, Nahi Tribhuvane. I would that.
Yes. Yeah. So like that. So these verses that we are reading, they are very, very powerful verses. And I just said, Ashocyan anavashochastvam pragyavadam sabhashase gatasun agatasun cha nanu shochanti pandita is the turning point. But then remember, this is a conversation happening between Arjuna and Krishna, with somebody who's already surrendered to him, accepting him as a spiritual master, and he is able to say that, right? But we can't say that to somebody whose parents have just died, that Nanu Shochanti Pandita, Ashocyan, you're lamenting for the dead who has gone. No, we need to show them compassion. We need to show them. And this is the important thing that we need to keep in mind, that as Vaishnavas, understanding this philosophy that you are a soul and you are not the body, and that the soul doesn't die, it doesn't mean that we don't take care of the body, because the body is the vehicle through which you're going to find Krishna. So we respect it. It also doesn't mean that we don't take care of our body and we dress badly and things like that, right? We will go to the temple properly dressed, if possible, you look beautiful because you're showing yourself to Krishna, like that, like look presentable. So the body has to be taken care of. We don't disrespect the body, right? We don't disrespect the body. And then because we see how can then this concept of the soul never dies go hand in hand with no meat eating, unless we respect the body, right? Because when you start telling people about that you are the soul in another body, then they'll try to justify meat eating, right? So what? I killed something. The soul is not killed, right? I mean, there's a man who committed murder, and then in the court he came and said, Bhagavad-gita says that. Right? The soul never dies because of that. So people can do all kinds of things. Maya aparita jnanam, the intelligence is corrupted, like that. But we have to remember that Krishna is telling Arjuna, and if Krishna is telling Arjuna, if it's coming from such a high authority, then it's okay. And the example that Prabhupada gave and I had also brought up, I think we read there, was that a person can go and kill as many people as he can in a war, right? In a war, if he kills hundreds and thousands of enemy soldiers, he comes back home, he's considered to be a hero. He'll be given medals that he can put on his chest. Like that, he might get a promotion also, right? But then if the same person goes and commits a murder, then he'll be hung to death. Could be, right? Or put on an electrical chair. Like that. So why? Because the first killing was authorized killing. It was authorized by the government, and the second killing was not authorized by the same government. So similarly, where Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are a Kshatriya, this is a war that is happening, you are supposed to kill, then that's one thing, right?
In
Yeah.
olden days.
Let me finish the thought. Yeah, let me just finish the thought. I'll lose it. Yeah. And then so in contrast to that, we are reading in the first canto, 7th chapter, and Varshana Mataji, you're there in those classes, is that Ashwatthama has released a Brahmastra that is causing distress to the whole world. And Arjuna, goes there, releases a counter Brahmastra and stops all that. And he captures Ashwatthama. And then he's faced with a dilemma, what do I do? Right? And Krishna is having fun and he says, kill him. Like that, right? But in the end, he does not kill him. Because he consults he looks at other aspects also of that. So authorized versus unauthorized killing. And yesterday we had talked about vikarma, right? We talked about vikarma. Vikarma is something that you do against the shastric injunction.
Yes, the shastric injunction.
Right? So like that. Yeah, sorry, Varshana Mataji. Now go ahead. Yeah.
No, Mataji. Mataji, like in the war also, actually it was, the war was not started. It just happened in China, between China and India. 20 people, Mataji, without any reason, they were, they killed them so badly that they were not even recognized. So is that a correct thing to do?
No. It's not a correct
thing. But they will get medals and everything because from their countryside, they have done the right thing.
Yeah. So when people, but they are not dead. They did not die. They did not lose their lives, right? Right? So from our shastric, look at it from the shastric perspective, right? So the one who died, the 20 that died also killed, right? Before they died, they were just not killed like that. They had also killed, right? So they did the killing, but they were doing the right thing. Somebody attacked, so you have to defend. You are a soldier. You are supposed to defend yourself. So they will definitely go to heaven. They will definitely go to heaven. Now the others who killed, they did not lose their life in their battle, right? And they had done nihatta pevar, right? Because that was a piece of land where you're not supposed to fight with weapons. So
yes.
Yeah, but then maya aparata granam, they will say that, okay, I'm not using a weapon, but a weapon could be anything. Even your tongue can be a weapon, right? So yeah, so that's what I'm exactly saying, that if somebody is getting a medal here in this life, right, doesn't mean that there is nobody higher on top of it that is looking at it. And that is what is law of karma. And that is what explains that why somebody is born with a defective body, somebody is born blind, two brothers are there, one is a pauper, one is a prince. Why do these things happen? Right? Because it's the innings that you have played before, as Chaitanya Prabhu will say, like that. Right? So to us, we might get very agitated. And that is exactly where Bhagavad-gita comes in the picture. And people always say that, how come you Indians, you don't go and attack on your own, right? You don't go and attack other countries. Why? Because we have this rich philosophy that explains these things to us like that. Right? And for the janta, that is going to be, for the public, that's going to be so agitated by hearing a news like that 20 people from my country were attacked by somebody from some other country. And it happens all the time on the border, by the way. So this is not a new incident. And so they can get very agitated, especially when they watch the news that the persons in the other country were awarded medals and they are being glorified in their country. But if you know about karma a little bit, then you will have peace of mind, because you're saying, okay, so they were foolish and they were ignorant, they did it. The government is even bigger in ignorance, because they are applauding that. But then there is Devanetrena, there are demigods on top of it. We're looking at all this. So now we understand the role of demigods, right? They're looking at all these, they're maintaining the law, the records. And it'll come back to you. What goes around comes around. Like that. So that agitation will go away. That urges that come into our mind will go away. Saknoti haiva yashodam praksharira. Those who have controlled the urges of anger. So how will that anger otherwise go? How can you subdue that anger that you feel that my countrymen were killed in an area where there was supposed to be no fighting? What else is the remedy? No alcohol as a remedy for that. What else is the remedy? The only everlasting remedy, and that will give you everlasting peace, is to bring in the concept of karma, to bring in the concept of, okay, they could not touch their souls. It is the body. And 4.17, these laws of karma are very complicated. To understand what is karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma is very difficult thing to do for us to understand. And also understand that this is all part of Krishna's bigger plan. Right? Krishna has willed it. If somebody dies, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. So somebody dies, that means that permission from Krishna was there. If somebody, does not die, is safe, then permission from shelter from Krishna was there, right? And we can sit here and we can agitate and we can worry. And that is where we talk about Stephen Covey's diagram, where he shows two concentric circles, right? There's one inner circle, there's one outer circle inside it. So a circle inside a circle, something like that. And he says that there is a circle, there are certain things which are in your control, in the sense that you can influence a decision, right? For example, the sabji, the vegetable, the curry that you're going to make tonight is in your control. You will decide as a lady of the house whether people are going to have eggplants or they're going to have lady fingers or whatever. It is in that activity of what gets put on the dinner plate is in your circle of influence, right? So you can think about, you can worry about, what's going to come on the plate because it is in your circle, and you can change it also because it's in your circle of influence, right? But there are certain things which are not under our influence at all. And if you start thinking about fixing them, or if you start thinking about them, that's only going to lead to worry. So trying to go into areas which are outside your circle of influence will only lead to worry. If you can do something about it, then do it. If you can't do anything about it, don't do it. Like that. Right? Because it'll only agitate your mind. For 2 hours, you will be thinking about this and that. Your mind will carry you to all other things. Now you'll say, okay, let us go and find out. Let me go and read more on the internet. Right? So then hours are lost and you are away from devotional service. Like that. So we have to be judicious in our choices on, where do we voice our concern and where we don't voice our concern. Like that. And it's a practice. It'll take us some time. And especially, I'm from a country where politics is discussed a lot. And people at every nook and corner on the streets, you'll see people talking. They're very politically aware also. I was very surprised when I came here to USA and said, oh, people have to be pushed to go and vote, like that. So yeah, they're very, they're into it, but if you can't change it, then don't, right? For example, yeah, as a citizen, you're supposed to vote. So if you find that one government is better than other government, you go and cast your vote and that's it. Don't spend endless hours discussing. That is circle of influence versus circle of, what? Yeah. Okay. So it's 8 o'clock, past 2 minutes past 8 o'clock today. So we'll call it a day here. And today is what? Today is Thursday, right? So we will have a short class tomorrow. And there are some more things I wanted to talk about in this chapter, in this 2.14. And tomorrow is a short day, so we'll just cover that.
2:15.
Sorry, yeah. So we'll do 15 again tomorrow. And we'll, okay. Thank you so much for joining. Those of you who are watching us on Facebook, and I see my godbrother Ram Krishna Veeravalli is also joining. Absolutely fantastic, and Shukha is also there. Hare Krishna. So good to have you on the call. And those of you who are watching us here on the Zoom call, please accept my obeisances. Thank you so much for bringing in so many thoughts and ideas. And chapter 2 is a very interesting chapter. We're going slow, but we're going steady in that. So also stay steady in your devotional practice and tolerate all the urges that's going to surround you today. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitana pavadibhyo vaishnavibhyo namaste. Hari Hari Bol. Okay, you can mute yourself and give me a Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Krishna. Have a fantastic day.